Okay, and we are filming.
Oh god. Ah.
So just whenever you are ready.
I think it's important to have female role models on screen because they inspire us to be who we are.
There are so many like male role models out there for like young boys growing up, and there has been a lack of role models for young girls, but that's changing like nowadays, thankfully.
Films with female directors or writers are more likely to have over 40% of women in the cast and crew.
Well, the time has come. Catherine Bigelow!
Catherine Bigelow is the only woman to ever win an Academy Award for Best Director. Only 5 women have ever been nominated.
I think it's really important that people are able to see themselves represented in cinema, because I think it helps people with their self-esteem, it helps them form an identity for themselves, and most of our role models at the moment are straight white men.
I mean, half our generation are females, so it'd be nice to have them represented on screen to, look up to them, be like them, hate them.
According to the BFI, the most prolific male director of the 1900s has almost 12 times more credits than the most prolific female director.
And so far in the 2000s, it's 4 times more. It's important that we get more variety in who's on screen, because it doesn't just affect how women see themselves, it affects how men see women.
I think it gives them a more well-rounded kind of perspective on society, really. Like, when they only grew up seeing like white, straight males on screen, that's kind of how they think the world is.
I think right now the male gaze is extremely important, especially in film, towards the idea of how they show women on screen. A lot of it is just to please the male audience. So I think if we change the way women are represented, instead of just being objects and being human beings, maybe men in the future will see women not as objects, but as human beings.
The most likely job for an unnamed female character is prostitute.
The least likely is manager. In a survey of over 1,100 popular films, only 13% had balanced casts.
Female speaking roles increased to 35% in 2018.
A 1% increase in 2017.
On average, less than 25% of the speaking roles in action films are women.
I think we need to see more variety of looks in the character, I guess. Like, I guess less of the Barbie look that everyone thinks of.
I think we need to see more like strong females instead of like stereotypes where they're just there to help men. We need women doing their own job, their own thing, being their own heroes, so just living their life.
In 2017, women were 4 times more likely to be shown in sexy attire,
2.6 times more likely to have nudity,
and 3 times more likely to be referred to as attractive.
13 to 20-year-olds are just as likely to be sexualized as 21 to 39-year-olds.
With people like Rey from Star Wars, or like the Doctor, 13th Doctor, or like any of the kind of new female leads that are introduced, we're starting to see more female representation, and I just think we need more of that before until it becomes kind of the mainstream.
Just to have a strong female character doesn't mean they have to be kicking everyone's ass the whole time. You can have a female who needs to be rescued by a man, who that's their goal, but they're still a strong female character. You can have then, total opposite, a character who wants nothing to do with men, nothing to do with romance, and they can still be a strong character. But we need more variety, we need more different looks to people, we need more different age groups, we need a lot more older actresses, because sort of from like the age of 50, people just seem to drop out of film.
The percentage of female roles drops from 28% to 16% once actresses are in their 40s.
And drops to 8% once they're in their 50s.
So the character that has inspired me the most is Princess Leia. She is, I think for a lot of people, she's the first character that you see on screen that's just oozes femininity but also power. she's very clearly in charge. When she gets rescued from the Death Star, she's just so unimpressed and is like, okay, this is meant to be a rescue, but you're really bad at this rescue. I'm taking over. She knows exactly what she wants. She knows what she's doing. She knows that she's a powerful character, and she also knows her limitations and stuff. Even in scenes with her when she's held hostage by Jabba, she's still very much in control. She's very much like, you've put me in this overly sexualized outfit, so I'm going to kill you for it. And it's amazing, and I think she's really influenced how I look at the world and how I perceive myself and the sort of person that I want to become. I want to be someone who has that much confidence in themselves and can just be like, I'm here, take it or leave it, this is what I'm good at, this is where I'm vulnerable, and just sort of go.
Well, I grew up on Doctor Who pretty much since the renewal series came out. Loved Christopher Eccleston, loved David Tennant, loved Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi, and they were huge role models for me growing up. The Doctor's always been this, as a protagonist, they have always been this kind of pacifist protagonist, not like the traditional protagonist, like never really solves things with violence, more of like a thinking character. And now the 13th Doctor being played by Jodie Whittaker, young girls who didn't really have a role model like that growing up can have the chance to have that through Jodie Whittaker's Doctor. And that's pretty cool.
Hermione Granger has inspired me because in the film she always stands up for what is right, and she's always really hardworking and loyal, and could always look up to that. I think it's affected me because I always try to be really hardworking, and I always try to say what I think is right as well.
Bridget Jones, man. She's a strong woman. She goes from living her life, doing nothing, being in her 30s, alone, doesn't even have a cat, but she's just her. She's just weird, she's a freak, but you've got to love it. She's just in her prime. And I think that's really important, just to have messy sort of like representation, because not everyone has their stuff together. So as a character, she's sort of affected me from like a young age. I've always looked up to her, as you don't really need to focus on men as long as you have like a good support system and you know what you're doing. Your career's more important than a single man. Know your worth.